The geographic reality of ancient Egypt is stark. A narrow, fertile river valley sits completely trapped by the deadly expanse of the Sahara Desert. For early nomadic tribes, this geography created a brutal competition for scarce resources. Survival was a violent, daily struggle against an unforgiving environment, a state of constant vulnerability the Egyptians called isfet, or chaos. Around 3150 BC, King Narmer executed a solution to this chaos. He launched a military campaign that forced the warring upper and lower river valleys into a single centralized state. We can see the record of this event on the Narmer palette. Look at the center. Two mythical creatures with long interwoven necks form a perfect circle. They represent the forced harmony of those two newly united lands. By bringing the entire river under one authority, human survival shifted from a fragmented daily struggle into a highly organized machine. This political unification birthed the civilization's core philosophical engine, Ma'at, or divine order. Running a centralized superstate required immediate technological upgrades. They invented hieroglyphic writing, established a complex bureaucracy, and developed a solar calendar to track the annual Nile floods. Mapping out the Old Kingdom's taxation and labor network reveals an immense logistical machine. Grain and conscripted workers flowed from hundreds of regional nodes directly down the river, converging on the central capital of Memphis. That concentration of labor and wealth was used to build monumental architecture. The state successfully organized millions of tons of limestone and mobilized thousands of workers with mathematical precision. The Great Pyramid of Giza stands as the primary physical record of this organized effort, built to house the God King. These monuments demonstrated that the state could divert the energy of millions of people into a single, permanent structure. This gave the pharaoh a way to project absolute power over the natural environment and discourage any return to the chaos of the past. But order is fragile. Near the end of the 3rd millennium BC, catastrophic droughts caused the Nile's flood levels to drop. The central government lost its authority, and the nation fractured into warlordism and famine. Recovery eventually took hold during the Middle Kingdom. To stabilize the state, leaders expanded trade networks and launched a military push into the gold-rich southern region of Nubia. Then an external threat arrived. Foreign rulers known as the Hyksos pushed into the Nile Delta. Their success proved that internal order could be shattered by groups with superior military technology. In response, the new kingdom shifted its entire military posture. Egypt moved from defensive isolation to a preemptive strategy, pushing its borders deep into the Levant to neutralize threats before they could cross the Nile. This imperial expansion funded a cultural peak. Leaders like the female pharaoh Hatshepsut legitimized their rule through architecture, designing structures like this mortuary temple to integrate seamlessly into the sheer cliff face. Later pharaohs relied on heavy military propaganda. They carved as warrior gods, establishing an imposing scale meant to intimidate internal rivals and foreign enemies alike. The new kingdom had learned a harsh lesson. Maintaining internal Ma'at now required absolute imperial dominance over the chaotic world outside its borders. Internally, the society's obsession with securing a perfect afterlife accelerated. Pharaohs began hoarding wealth, burying it deep inside the remote, hidden Valley of the Kings. Looking inside Tutankhamun's burial chamber shows the scale of these preparations. Even a relatively minor king required gold-laden artifacts and elaborately painted murals to ensure his journey into eternity. This concentration of wealth made Egypt a primary target for consecutive foreign empires. Alexander the Great arrived in 332 BC, leading to the establishment of the Greek Ptolemaic dynasty. Eventually, Rome absorbed the territory entirely. The once mighty Egyptian empire was used as an agricultural breadbasket, feeding the populations of other Mediterranean powers. While native political control was lost, foreign rulers often adopted Egyptian traditions to maintain order. Alexander was crowned as a traditional pharaoh in Memphis, and Greek queens modeled themselves after the goddess Isis. Even under foreign rule, the core religious and social structures of the Nile remained intact. In the 7th century, the Islamic conquest shifted the region's linguistic and religious gravity, establishing Cairo as a global epicenter. Centuries later, an elite warrior caste known as the Mamluks successfully defended Egypt from Mongol and Crusader invasions, ensuring the region maintained its geopolitical relevance. Fast forward to the 19th century, and a leader named Muhammad Ali Pasha launched an aggressive campaign to force Egypt into the modern industrial age. This drive for modernization required a massive engineering effort to excavate the Suez Canal. Connecting the Mediterranean to the Red Sea completely rerouted global trade patterns. The project carried a tragic irony. The staggering debt incurred by building the canal stripped Egypt completely of its sovereignty, providing an opening for an aggressive British colonial occupation. By the 20th century, pressure against the British occupation reached a boiling point. A rising tide of anti-colonial nationalism spread across the population. The uprising relied on massed grassroots participation. The demand for sovereignty crossed every boundary of class and gender, with Egyptian women frequently taking to the streets to lead the defiance. The struggle climaxed with the 1952 revolution. A coalition of military officers dismantled the foreign-backed monarchy and forced imperial troops out of the country. Gamal Abdel Nasser emerged as the architect of the new Egyptian Republic. For the first time in millennia, the country transitioned from colonial figureheads back to native leadership. Nasser challenged international control by nationalizing the Suez Canal, defying the remaining colonial powers. This bold move was followed by the construction of the massive Aswan High Dam, which gave the new government direct control over the Nile's flow and industrial power. The modern republic stands as the latest victory of order over chaos. It proves that the civilization forged on the banks of the Nile can adapt, endure, and continuously resurrect itself.